The Art of Being Ruled. Wyndham Lewis. Original publication 1926. 1989 edition. Narrated by Skeptical Waves. Part 1. Revolution and Progress. Chapter 6. The Non-Impersonality of Science. In Chapter 4 we saw how vulgarization is not the indiscriminate scattering of truth, but the organizing and adapting of certain chosen truths, or discoveries, of philosophy or science, to an ultimately political end. The ideology of a time, ideology is Napoleon's word for the metaphysics of government, is that of the contemporary ruling class. So the finished product of scientific vulgarization is not an inhuman, objective bundle of pure scientific truth, but a personally edited bouquet or bundle, with a carefully blended odor to suit the destined palate. But here we arrive at one of the most significant delusions of the present time, to which in passing we must devote some attention. The popular notion that science is impersonal is one of the first errors we are called on to dispel. The non-impersonality of science should at all cost be substituted for the idea of its impersonality. Science in itself, to start with, when it first began its revolution, was a force of nature sure enough, a thing and not a person. But this impersonal thing men have now got hold of and harnessed, to a great extent. So pure science is one thing, its application another, and its vulgarization a third. One of the most ridiculous effects of the vulgarization of science and the application of its methods, a tort et a travers, to human life, is what could be defined as the belief in anonymity. From this many absurdities result. First of all, the man of science himself begins to believe in it. He believes that he is not a person, that he is not human, that he is in some way a part of nature. Then, through admiring this scientific detachment and impersonality so much, Tom, Dick, and Harry begin to believe that they, too, are not persons, not human. A man, a quite ordinary man, not a man of science, will stand in front of another man, who knows him quite well and all about him, and pretend that he is not himself, that he is impersonal, that he is incapable of any emotions, appetites, or prejudices, that he cannot be angry, partial, offended, jealous, or afraid. And the strangest thing is that he is believed. This delusion of impersonality could be best defined as that mistake by virtue of which persons are enabled to masquerade as things. A simple belief in the detachment and objectivity of science, the anxiety of a disillusioned person to escape from his self and merge his personality in things, verging often on the worship of things, of the non-human, feelingless, and thoughtless, of such experiences and tendencies is this delusion composed. Its godlike advantages from the point of view of 100 different classes of people are obvious. A book that I have just read, Bolshevism and the West, by Bertrand Russell, suggests to me the best manner of adducing this point in my argument. A detailed scrutiny of it will serve that end, I believe, extremely well. I will preface my remarks on Mr. Russell's contribution to this debate by a word or two as to the beliefs of his opponent. The book is the account of a debate organized in 1923, in America, to decide whether the Soviet principle might be expected to meet with success if applied to Western countries. Mr. Bertrand Russell was chosen to try it out from the English liberal standpoint. It was his task mildly to open the militant Americanism of a representative there of the Bolshevik idea, Mr. Nearing. The debate resolved itself into an orthodox statement of the militant communist ideal on the part of Mr. Nearing, and a characteristic counterstatement of Mr. Russell's attitude in these matters. As regards Mr. Nearing's beliefs, I find more to agree with in the Soviet side of the argument than in Mr. Russell's. I am not a partisan, but an independent observer of these events. I am not a communist. If anything, I favor some form of fascism rather than communism. Nevertheless, when two principles are opposed, and one of these is that of English liberalism, in most cases I should find myself on the other side, I expect. In my comment on this debate it is rather as another opponent of Mr. Russell, than as an ally of Mr. Nearing, or of Bolshevism, or of communism, that I take my place.